Hiya, teacher friends. Are you interested in teaching English on iTalki, or are you a teacher right now? Well, you came to the right place, and especially if you're just getting started, I am so happy you're watching this video because I'm talking about 5 things that I wish I did sooner on iTalki. I've hinted at a lot of these things in my recent videos. I thought that I'd just throw all 5 of them together, and it's 5 of many that I wish I did sooner. Just some background, I've been teaching on iTalki for 3 months now. That's all it's been. I've been teaching full-time. It's been working, it's been fantastic, full-time for 2 months. And really things moved up and escalated very quickly. So as I said, if you're just getting started, this is the perfect time for you to be aware of these things and to get started on iTalki on the right foot. Not only will it be easier on you mentally and emotionally, but also financially as well, because at the end of the day, this is your job, right? So let's get started. The first thing that I wish I did sooner, and at risk of sounding a little superficial here, is actually raise prices. Okay, so right off the gate, this sounds a little bit superficial, and I'm not that guy who just cares about the money, but because for your mental sanity, when you have a very wide open schedule and your prices are low, that's a recipe for a lot of classes. A lot of classes, that sounds good, especially when it's your full-time job. But do you need a lot of classes? And when I'm talking about a lot, I mean back to back to back 50 classes a week, if not more. No, I did not need that. There was a couple weeks where I pounded out 60 classes. I could have just raised it $2 or $3, got a few less classes, but the amount for each class would have added up to a decent amount to compensate for the classes I wouldn't have completed. So definitely once you get to that point, because I'm sure you'll start off low, which would be the smart thing, especially if you're teaching full-time. So once you get to 2 class requests a day, like new class requests, trial class requests per day for 3 days, that's 6 new students in a matter of 3 days. That's when it's time to put the brakes on, raise the prices, just $1 or $2. Again, it's not to just get that much money, but because we're human, we're excited, we're new to iTalki, you can't say no. At least I'm the type of person, I felt like I couldn't say no. And because my prices were so low, I was attracting a vast array of people, casting the whole net really, and I was compiling dozens of students for the first month really. So definitely once you get to that point, 2 new students, 3 consecutive days, raise the prices, okay? And just kind of feel it out as you go along. Okay, so number 2 ties in with number very well. It's cut the schedule. Just cut the schedule down a little bit. And basically I started off 7 days a week, 12 hours a day availability. Right now I have 7 hours a day availability, and I have 5 days a week. Much nicer. It's very good for me. And I think most people who want to work full-time, 8 hours per day is what you want, 5 days a week. So like 40 hours a week. It depends on how you're living. I'm not living in the city. Expenses are cheaper for me, I suppose. But if you're living in like a city like Dublin, of course you would need a little bit more leeway right there, okay? So let's say you need 40 hours a week. All right, you need to compensate for that. So maybe the price will be a little bit lower for the classes in order to hit that 40 class per week mark. So you would need maybe 9 hours of available time. That's still doable. But 12 hours, 7 days a week, there's no breaks, right? That's 60, as I said, I had a few weeks with 60 classes. I wish I cut that down because the quality of my classes began to fall and you could really overwork yourself. Luckily, I started increasing my price and cutting down my schedule right in time that I was still in love with iTalki and I was still in that honeymoon period. Everything worked out. But as I said, I only just made the train because it could have gone to the point where it was overwhelming. I was maybe a week or two away from that, right? So definitely once you get to the point where you have maybe, let's say 80 upcoming classes, like start to cut your schedule, because obviously some sort of part of the formula, whether it's the money or the amount of time that's available, some part of the formula is just fosters too much availability. Okay, cool. Number three, the third thing I wish I did earlier is I give a plan. Okay, so right after I have a trial lesson, I send my students a plan. Of course, that depends on which kind of lesson they're taking. But it's a plan for the next 5 lessons, what we're going to go over. So I check, is this a beginner level student, intermediate, advanced, right? It depends what kind of teacher you are, what kind of students you teach, right? And to send them like 5 lessons, I have it all just printed out straight from the BBC lesson plans, lesson by lesson, and that way they know what they're going to be learning. They know what to expect. Most importantly, you feel more confident. Like both of you feel more confident, and it takes nothing more than just copy and pasting. So just do it. If you don't like to follow a plan, like at least give them the option of like different topics. The best thing to do is give your students some sense of opinion, and give yourself some sense of control, right? And as long as you can meet each other halfway on iTalki, then that's great. So make sure they know you're taking it seriously, and give them a chance to put their 2 cents in as well. Okay, along the same lines, number 4 is to give homework. Why did I wait so long to give homework? Like some of my students that I started teaching in the first month, and I didn't end up giving them homework until the second month, or like halfway through the second month. I give them homework now, and they're happy with it. They love the homework, and I don't know why it never struck me. Some students like homework, some students don't. So just ask them straight up if they like homework. For me, I create a Google Doc with my students, and they just upload their homework right there. Sometimes I don't get around to checking it. Most of the time they upload it like 5 minutes before class, and that's okay. We could go over it in class together, or I'll mark it after class and they'll see the corrections. So again, like just start off by giving them an article, ask them a question, 2 paragraphs, respond on it. Just simple reading of responses. Discuss it at the beginning of next class. It's a simple homework assignment, and it gets them using their English throughout the week. Because this might be a secret to you, but the better your student is in English, the better it is for you. Like it feels good as a teacher and as a student for the student to be improving their English, right? To know, okay, what I'm teaching them is working, and for them to know what I'm learning is working, right? It just makes the whole recipe come together. All right, so definitely make sure that you start sending homework. I waited a month and a half in, maybe 2 months in. So yeah, like get on that in your first or second week, and also it's a good way to eat up like 10 minutes of time. The last thing, the 5th thing that I wish I did earlier, is create separate classes on my iTalki profile. So currently I have IELTS class, business English, general reading and writing, and general speaking and listening, and conversational. Bam, 5 of them right there. I think the most you could have is 6 actually. 5 is all I need. When I put in IELTS, a flurry of students walked in through my doors. Unfortunately, I've had to raise the prices on them, and prices for test preparation is rather high on iTalki. My way around that is to be one of the cheaper teachers, because honestly, it doesn't require much more work than just normal teaching does. I think perhaps the idea for some IELTS preparation instructors is that they have to do more marking. I don't. I assign the same amount of homework for my IELTS students as I would for the other students. Perhaps it's because there's a specific goal they're learning towards, but I mean all students have a certain goal that they're learning towards. So to me, I don't understand the point of having the prices way higher, but definitely they are higher, and you need to follow the market. So for me, I have different classes. I've had classes in all different areas. You know, I'm at more than 400 classes right now, and I've probably taught like 150 conversational, 150 like general, and the rest is like IELTS and business English. It's been going fantastic so far. My my suggestion to you is like make sure that you're prepared to speak about these differences in real life. Don't just tell them to refer to your website or to your iTalki profile. Like tell them what the difference is, what you think that they would that they would profit off of the best. Like for me, when it's a student, maybe like a 16-year-old who just needs to talk and just needs to practice talking, I'm not going to charge them the extra $2 with the general classes. I'll just like say, hey, take the conversational classes. That's what I think you need. And at the end of the day, it's their choice. I respect the decision, whatever they make. Even with some of my IELTS students, I give them the choice, hey, do you want to just do conversational so we could consolidate for a little bit? It could save them a few bucks, and it also shows that you care about their progress and you're tracking how they're moving along. So definitely, those are the 5 things that I wish I did earlier as a teacher on iTalki. I'm at 425 lessons right now. I wish I started doing this after maybe like 50 lessons, right? So if you're just getting started, this is the perfect time for you to do this, all right? Raise prices, cut your schedule, write out a plan, give homework, and finally, distinguish your classes into different class types. All right, I hope that helps you out a lot. I hope you're excited and ready to teach on iTalki. Subscribe for bi-weekly tips and tricks for new young ESL teachers. I'm Ryan, and keep smiling.